everybody. I hope you're doing great. I'm going to be looking into the energies of 2024. So I'm going to take a look at the energies of 2024 if you're following me. And then we're going to see what I'm shown. So whatever I'm shown is a vision that's going to provide support to empower you in 2024. Any year you watch this video, it will also empower you because wisdom is timeless. All right. I hope you're all enjoying the holidays. I wish you all a happy new year. It's so weird. I'm still breathing the air of 2023 right now. I'm going to be breathing the air of 2024 based on a human calendar. That's what it says. Okay, I'm going to relax now. And then I'm just welcoming the universe to really show me something here that's going to help. Whatever you need help with. You found this video for a reason. And that what I'm showing here is really going to help you. Help you find your footing in 2024 or in any year that you watch this. So, okay, I'm kind of like Alice in Wonderland. And it's not necessarily the rabbit hole, it's more like a well. And I experienced myself having fallen into a hole, and I'm kind of tumbling through interdimensional time and space. So there's no definition of time here. There's no definition of place. I'm just tumbling, okay? Undefinable. Everything is in a brown color. There seems to be something kind of golden that I have in my hand. It kind of looks like an hourglass that's made out of gold. It also represents an instrument. I don't know why I'm holding on to this. It seems important, but something inside myself says it's okay to let it go. You don't need to have this. You don't need to clutch this with all your might. It's okay to let it go. There's a sense of trust and faith here. Because if I let this go, what do I have? I have the essence of myself, and I'm tumbling in a space that has no definable time, no definable place, location. And so what am I? I'm just a tumbler. Then I have nothing but a tumble. That's it. I don't know where I'm going to land. I don't even know what that means. But it feels very risky. It feels like I'm going to be lost forever. I'm discovering there's a sense of someone watching. And the one who watches seems to know where the dimensions are. So I see it as nothingness, and I'm falling into the brown forever. That they actually see almost like definable shapes with intersecting lines. And they can see where I'm falling, and I actually pinpoint the exact location, almost like they could create a materialization of ground by choice. It's a bit strange because it's basically saying that some higher force has the power to make a difference here if they want to. So if they see you and you're tumbling through the brown, you have to let go of things you don't want to let go, because what's left of you? You're just some tumbler. Where are you going to land, and what is that going to mean? At what time, in what place? There's a lot of fear involved in this. And it feels a little bit like Alice in Wonderland, so the unknown is involved here. Now, if there's a watcher that says, hey, I care about you, I'm watching you, I want to help you with this fall, what about everybody? Is it just you, or maybe me, or someone? Is it all of us? So what power do you have, and what power does someone else have, whether we know who they are or not? Maybe it's God, maybe it's an alien being, I don't know. Maybe it's something about magnetic flow, the domino effect, the inevitability. It was always going to cross paths in such a way that he would land at this point at this exact time. Whether this watcher chose it, it was inevitable to be chosen. So it's a bit about destiny and fate. Okay. Well, the watcher's a bit odd looking. Actually looks kind of like a clown butler. Looks kind of mechanical. Actually has kind of like white hair and kind of glossy in appearance. Bald on top. Has a monocle, okay? And where I land is sort of a square on a tiled floor that's the black and white tiled floor. It's a pretty pattern because it's not just black and white squares. It seems to have little diamond shapes too in there. So almost like the pattern is multidimensional. It's not just black, white squares like a checkerboard. It seems to have sometimes a small black diamond. And then maybe it's more black diamonds. Maybe they're squares, maybe they're diamonds. There's something about this that makes it an extraordinary kind of floor to kind of awaken to. I seem to be in a giant cosmic ballroom. Feels like things are opening up from a place of fear and tumbling. When, where, who is going to help me then land? And where is it going to be, please? Fate, destiny, okay? Having to let go of things I want to clutch with all my might because it's all I have left, okay? Now landing in this very interesting ballroom. The squares, diamonds, black, white, okay? And it's quite large, so it's like a stadium ballroom open to the stars. And this watcher, this glossy butler. I'm the only one here. And I'm starting to stand up, and it's hard on my heart because I know I'm being asked to do something that is a little awkward. And basically it means dance all by yourself. You're gonna have to dance. So this isn't about whether you're a good dancer or not a good dancer. Maybe you're not a good dancer, but you love to dance anyway. This is about overcoming something that feels very embarrassing. Like some way that you're holding yourself back, and you're going to have to overcome what is your shyness about it, and you're going to have to learn how to dance in the black and white ballroom of the universe. You're the only one there, so who are you trying to impress? It's not about impressing anyone other than yourself. You really should see how truly awing you are. But if you're holding yourself back, you'll never really know how far you can go. And so tumbling down like Alice through the rabbit hole is for your greater good. And if it's for your greater good, it's for my greater good. It's for all of our greater good. It seems like, is it fate, destiny, or was it inevitable? Like, it seems like you were bound to fall here. You were bound to face this conflict with yourself. Like it was going to happen no matter what. Because you took action, or because it was the right place, the right time, and it all fell into place. It seems like there's a bit of divine time involved, which is kind of cool. So there is some responsibility, but you're going to do it anyway. And it's not going to feel very comfortable. Sorry. Growing pains, you know? It's not like growing joy. It's growing pains. And then the pains go away because you grew out of them. So now you don't have to be shy anymore and you can enjoy the dance. So they're showing me this also for 2024 or whatever year you're watching this in. All right, what else? I will say I feel like my heart is always in a state of anxiety and uncertainty. So there's something of matters of the heart I know what this is. It's the same thing as falling through the rabbit hole and not being sure if you're going to fall to your death. You're going to land softly in some blankety bed. You don't know what's going to happen next. And you have no control over what it's going to be and how to know what it's going to be. You don't have any control at all. And so 2024 is, can you feel safe with tumbling? Where there is no time or space. There's no location. There's no knowing of sorts. And there's also a request to let go of something you're holding on to with all your might. It's like the last thing that you have. Could be a quality. It could be your pride, you know? It doesn't have to be a material object like you have to let go of your house. Could be your house. But it could be something of your personality, your fear, you know? But it creates an anxiety for anybody. It's matters of the heart, and it feels like the heart is like a bit of a stress ball. It's not breathing too easily. It's uncertain. And then having to learn how to dance. I'm telling you, there's so much joy in it, but there's a bit of resistance to it. Conquering yourself. All right, what's the next thing here? It's kind of this message about oftentimes we feel kind of alone in our struggles, and our struggles are our own. And even if we share with others, it's really just comfort for the moment. It might not actually be the solution to a bigger problem. It's just some sort of medicine to endure a bigger problem. But there's reassurance that we weren't born on a planet full of people so we could walk this alone. And there's a lot more availability to feel the presence of others in 2024 than it is felt in other years. So I'm noticing this cosmic ballroom where you're having to overcome something of your shyness, conquer yourself, and start to dance. Who are you dancing for is for you first. But there's also this sense that the curtain is rising and you're going to start to notice many more faces. That also feels a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's not necessarily nerve-wracking at all. It seems like a dream come true in a way. And that not all bad people, you know, are the only people you're ever going to meet. It's like something about the anxiety of the heart, something about the uncertainty, something about falling into the cosmic ballroom, something about the loneliness, something about seeking a solution to the matters of the heart. The curtain rising. Now there's people here. It's not all bad people in this world, okay? And you're not a bad person. So there's something important to be said about bad people. That's a very specific language they want me to use, bad people. But it's interesting because it's all a matter of perception. Are you a bad person to yourself? Are you a bad person, perhaps an enabler of some other person's bad habits? What does it mean to be a bad person? It's interesting because it's like we see someone who is kind as a good person, but sometimes kindness can create bad situations. Enabling, for instance. Controlling without realizing it. Because you just want what's best for that person, so you know what's best for them, so you're going to do whatever it takes, but you're not helping them grow at all. So your kindness becomes kind of like an enabling scenario. So it's a matter of perspective about what is a bad person. And in a way, they're kind of telling me that the people you're going to meet are bad people. And then they tell me that not everybody is a bad person. And then they say, you're not a bad person. And then they show me that being bad is a matter of perspective. And so what makes you a bad person? Almost like we're all guilty for being bad people. It's like, at what range is a sin and what range is a non-sin? All you can do is become more self-aware. It's about becoming more self-aware. Conquering yourself. Feels like matters of the heart again. This is hard stuff. I kind of want to get to maybe a little vacation spot where the growing pains don't exist here. So we're still in the black and white cosmic ballroom, okay? You've conquered something of yourself. You're letting go of your shyness. You're opening up. Curtains rising. It's a world of bad people. It's a world of good people. It's like all a matter of perspective. But who are you now and who are these people? It doesn't feel like it's such a barren road. It feels like it's a road of actual prosperity because people bring prosperity. Bad, good brings prosperity. Now think about that, okay? Why would bad people bring prosperity? Just think about that. They want me to fill in some of the blanks. Sometimes we have to face a challenge. And that challenge is kind of like poking a bear on the inside. Whereas I'm not going to let that person get to me. I'm not going to let that person break me. I'm not going to let that person take my joy. And 1 year turns into 10 years, turns into 20 years. And what kind of person are you now? What is their perseverance? And what could be their toxic nature? But what is it that you're not doing? What is the one thing that you're putting up with that's not reconciling this arrangement? Because some people need to be poked back, okay? And so that the balance can be achieved. And when there's balance, everybody wins. The balance has to start with you. That sometimes we don't understand it, so we need to have the exchanges with one another in order to grow. So what makes us a good person is genuinely more good than we understood what good was. And what makes us grateful for that bad person that made us a better good person. And I'm shown that bad people bring prosperity because they're forcing balance between the good and the bad. And whatever we define that as, balance is required. Okay? You can do this. I can do this because living just happens, you know? And there seems to be a matter of taking action, but a matter of fate, almost like you were inevitably going to fall into that ballroom. Inevitably, you were going to be challenged. And inevitably, you weren't going to be given a choice. You were going to have to face it because you're forced to grow magnetically. The universe continues to turn, and this is the next step. We're all falling into the next step. We're all Alice in Wonderland falling into the next step. It doesn't matter whether you're the wealthiest or the poorest person on the planet. We're all falling into the next step together. And with each other, we then are wealthy. We are all wealthy. It's a balance that creates something truly remarkable. But we seek it. We're learning it. We're trying to understand it. I feel like I want to go back to this butler for a moment. I just want to go back to the watcher, okay? I want to see what else this might represent. You want to be the watcher. You want to have more power to define your own fate, like to design it. It's kind of like manifesting. What is it that you want? What is it going to take to get there? And don't ever like take your eyes off of the goal, no matter what gets in your way. It's not about hurting other people to get what you want. Maybe that's your lesson. And maybe that is what you're meant to do. There's something important about don't ever give up. Like if it's what you want, don't give up. And find yourself on the way, along the way. So there's something about this Watcher. It's wanting to have more power and control in your own life in a way that you have power and control. Like it's in a way that you have all the power in the palm of your hand to do whatever you want in this life. That it's your life, your life, your life. You have the power. Everything is in the palm of your hands. And naturally that comes down to, it's very obvious, like people, normal to think this way. When you have money, you have everything. And so you have power and control in the world. And so then you are a Watcher. If you have money, you have all the power, you are a Watcher. You see the goal and it's easy to get to it. You don't even have to try. You can buy your way to it even. Something about the Watcher in this new viewpoint, not as some divine being like God, for instance, but as someone who has a lot of power, and that you want to step into being someone who has a lot of power. This is important. So I'm going to choose to see every single human being on the planet as a Watcher, as someone who has a lot of power. Every single person on the planet equally has all the power. And now that we all have the power, what are we going to do with it individually? What are we going to do now? We all have all the power. What are we going to do now? Is it just one person or is it every single one of us? Okay, this is also about 2024. This is also about a strange dance that we're all in, and it feels like we're in this dance alone, but we're in it together. And there's a lot of bad people, but there's a lot of bad people that are good people that are bad people. So it's like, who's good, who's bad? We're all bad. We're all learning balance with good and bad. It's a weird way of seeing it, of talking about it, because that's like saying Mother Teresa is a bad person or Jesus is a bad person. Like, it's kind of a weird way of speaking, you know? Because you've got to give room for humanity. You've got to give room to make mistakes and be the best person you can try to be. You can conceive of being, you know? So it's kind of harsh to say it like that, but it's an interesting way to say it. And I see that we're bumping into each other. I see that we're getting delayed by one another. I see that we're getting stuck in humongous groups that are becoming mobs that are trampling us. I see that people aren't listening. I see that people are taking when they should be patiently waiting for their turn. Cosmic Ballroom is turning into a catastrophe. And we all want to be the Watcher. We all want to be Watchers. We all want to have power and control. We all want it. And it seems like I want desperation. Desperation is becoming part of the dance. There we go again. Alice falling through the hole, having to let go of something she's clutching. Having to let go and fall into the cosmic ballroom where she will have to overcome something of herself. You will have to overcome something of yourself. Yet again, the cycle continues. You conquer your shyness. You conquer yourself. You start to dance. And the curtain rises. And you see you're not alone. And it actually is a good thing. It keeps saying that again and again. This is a good thing that you're not alone. And it's a good thing to be aware of that. I'm going to choose to see this, okay? And I don't know what it means yet, but I'm going to choose to see the glossy butler, the powerful watcher, is a part of you, is a part of me. It's part of every single one of us and this whole planet. That means that we have the power to give ground to one another, to give a sense of fate and destiny, sense of opportunity to one another. That we have the power to do that. It wasn't money that gave us the power, or a decision, a helping hand, a courteous gesture, a listening ear. Okay, I'm going to ask one more time, if we were to come full circle on this message, overall, what is the final message for this video here, 2024? Timeless message that's going to help anybody who watches it at any time. They asked me, how do I feel about it? They reminded me about matters of the heart and the anxiety. I'm going to let me think for a second. Sometimes it makes me feel tired. It's kind of like the same old story in a way. There's always something you got to let go of. There's always a sense that you're falling through a rabbit hole. You don't know where you're going to land. I've had a lot of experiences in my life where I've learned that it doesn't matter if you do the right thing, the wrong thing can still happen. And so there is a sense of whether I desired it or I didn't desire it. It's like what I desire, oftentimes I get what I don't desire. And what I don't desire, maybe they'll be surprised and get something I actually wanted that I gave up on asking for. It's like, what control did I ever have? What control did I think I had? Now, what if this is true nature of human existence, is to always just be falling through a rabbit hole, having to let go of the next thing, conquer oneself, discovering something you're avoiding. You need to dance again, and you need to be exposed to all the bad people of the world, where all the wealth is, because you too are just another one of them. But does that make you a bad person, or does it just make you a human person trying to find your balance? I would really love a more logical viewpoint, but I find that the real medicine isn't in the answer, it's in the meaning of discovering what is right for you because you lived in time. It's kind of like the parent telling the child, oh, don't do this. Oh, you should do that. But the child's got to learn for themselves. So whatever the parent says or even forces upon the child, or maybe didn't force enough, who knows? It's like not really in the palm of the parent's hand as much as maybe perceived. Because the child still has to decide where their heart is, where their mind is, where their spirit is. What is drawing them? And so that's life, It's not because someone told you the answer, but because you found the answer for yourself. And you found the courage to live a life. And understand these kinds of concepts. One thing I would like to see is for people to feel safe living a human life. Feel safe no matter the circumstances you're going through. There's a lot more people not sure what tomorrow holds than there are people knowing how to sustain their situation for years to come. Now, when you live on the edge, you're living on thin ice and you know it's thin and you don't know what's going to be your safety net, you might actually just drown. Nobody wants to drown. And I don't understand why we live in a world where that happens to anyone. There should be solutions for every single person, and that should be at the core of society. And they should be smart and intelligent solutions. And it feels sometimes like the goal is to destroy sanity, to destroy culture, to destroy, I don't know, collective thought process or collective action. And knowing what happens when you grow up and how you can sustain that for future generations, even if it's not a perfect society. It gives something of a sense of knowing about what the future holds to some degree. Knowing how you can lean on that gives you safety and security. But in the world that we're living in, the safety and security is, a sense of it's being eradicated. So it's creating a lot more anxiety on the heart. And if that's a collective sense, more and more people are starting to feel anxiety on the heart, that's going to create a bust at some point. I don't know what the despair or the hopelessness or the rage or the decision making, but it's bear poking. And the bad is going to poke the good into the thing that the good needs to do because they've not been doing that thing yet. And now when the good does the thing, they're going to be the bad guy to the bad person that now has to realize that they are being poked back. And that bad thing now has to become corrected and they become a better person. So it goes back and forth like this weird tug of war. But I don't want anybody to have to go through life struggling. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I have to accept that it's part of all of our paths here as human beings to figure this out. And we're all guided. A message that came to me earlier this week was a cool reminder that, I'm guided by my higher self. That you're guided by your higher self. That if you want to say all the most benevolent people on the planet are guided by their higher self and they're doing exactly what they're called to do at this time. All the most evil people on the planet are guided by their higher self. And everything is happening by some sort of cosmic orchestra conducted by, I don't know, the universe. It all sort of happens perfectly. If you can lean on just knowing that, you're going to be okay, and that it's okay to go through difficult times and not to worry about it. Just keep following your heart and be the best you can be. And then when something difficult happens, you're going to learn from it. But there's a lot of us who are going to relate to you because a lot of human beings relate to a lot of human beings. You know what it's like to struggle. We all do. So dang it, I'm going to say this last thing for 2024. It's going to be a great year. I'm still going to be doing my thing. As long as I'm called to do my thing, I'm going to do my thing here. On my cell phone and my tripod, looking into the wisdom and sharing it with you. I hope it helps. And feel free to comment your thoughts, your feelings about all this. What do you think 2024 is going to look like? Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. If I can help you in a session, you can book a session at my website. You can find me at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. All right, I wish you all well. Again, Happy New Year, Happy 2024, or any year that you're watching this in. Bye for now.